Hi everybody, going live on FB, and here I am back home, home sweet home. And I've had fantastic travels, but isn't it great to be home? And there's nothing like your own pillow in your own bed. You get to appreciate it more when you come home, don't you think? So today we are here to blow minds, to inspire, to engage, to connect, to make impact and to impress. How does that sound? Does that sound like a hot topic? Who's with me today? Yes, we got somebody online. Fantastic. So, yes, we're here to blow minds. You remember that phrase from long ago? Did that music blow your mind? Did that food blow your mind? Etc., etc. So, yes, how do we inspire and make impact and fire up everybody when we speak to them, when we engage with people, when we're presenting, when we're performing, when we're making a pitch, when we're just talking to our colleagues, when we want a pay rise? How do we keep people's attention? That's what we're going to be talking about today. So welcome on board. Glad to see and hear you all. And for those who are catching the replay, CTR, then please post your comments, put your questions in. I'll get back to all of you, I promise. So here I am back in hot, sticky local in Santiago de la Ribera, where I live. And who's on board today? Let's see. We've got just my favorite fan. So one of the things that I wrote about in the blog, which of course you've all seen and read and heard all about, is how our attention spans are so short these days. Don't we know that? You know, we've got like something like 8 seconds before we are distracted. Our concentration is so poor these days that we just don't know how to control it. And within a few seconds, we're flicking our eyes, looking somewhere else, getting ready to switch that button and turn off and go on to another project. And this happens offline and even worse online, of course. Our attention spans are very poor. We want to be impacted and impressed and inspired straight away. And this gets even more difficult. We are faced with all these challenges all the time. So, Christina, thank you so much for coming on board. So, yes, so we're going to be talking about how to inspire and how to keep attention. How can we switch on those attention buttons so that people are engaged when they watch us, when they listen to us, when we're performing. And as you know, my background in the entertainment industry, I've had a lot of experience where people did not listen to me, were not inspired. I even had theatres where people walked out when I was on stage. So believe me, I've been through it. And this is quite a topic today, and very popular topic, because we do want to engage. And we see so many videos, so many posts, we read so much all the time. We are inundated with information and with Facebook Lives and videos and podcasts. And very quickly we switch off. So how can we ourselves assure that our audiences will be captured and engaged? Good topic, isn't it? So I'm going to be asking some questions, and I hope you'll put your questions in too. So one of the things that really impressed me is that nothing is worse than when your audience switches off from you. And it happens a lot. We give people 2-3 seconds to make that impact. We don't like something about it, we're off. And it's a terrible feeling. If you're in that position of having your, I have to sit down, I think, to read all these things. I'm coming. Here I am, closer to the screen. So we are so stressed to perform all the time, so today's topic is very important. Yes, that's right, Christina, we are. We're so inundated with so much stuff all the time, and you've seen it yourself. Your finger is on that button, your finger is ready to switch off if that person is not giving you what you want and filling you in with the information that you want, giving you the knowledge so that you can learn something or something can be reinforced. And it's interesting to think about the people whom you know, that you watch and listen to, who inspire you. And then look at them and see what it is that they're giving you. What is it that makes them hold your attention? What secret ingredient do they have? Is it the content? Is it the way they appear? Is it the length of time that they talk to you? There are so many indices that actually encourage us to engage with people. And I was trying to think about all the things that I like to see in others when they are speaking to me, when they're performing with me. And I think it's really important in real life, offline. We need that physical contact. We need to have the eye contact. We need to have some facial gestures, and maybe some touch. Not everybody likes that, of course, but a little bit of that is good too. So online it's even more tricky, because you can still smile and you can make the eye contact, but you don't actually get to see who your audiences are all the time. So let's get into this topic. Let's dig in and see how it is, how we can deal with, how we can create an energy within us that inspires and gives impact. So I remember I'll tell you a funny story. I remember back in my performance poetry days, when I used to go to this club and I was given a 15-minute slot to perform my piece. And I had probably 6 to 8 pieces, prose poems to perform and to create an atmosphere. So I started out with a couple of ones that people were more familiar with, ones that they liked more, or I'd seen a more positive response. And it's very interesting when you get hecklers. Hecklers actually are helpful. Hecklers are people that bring the attention back to you, if you're clever with your words, and can actually boost your performance if you handle them well. But when people get restless and start fidgeting, or even talking to strangers, nowadays they just get out their phone and start flicking down with that. When you see that finger going, you've lost them. And this is what was happening at that performance that I was doing. They were watching each other, looking around, looking at their watches. When can I go for a beer? Where's the beer? Where's the bar? Where's the coffee? There was these distractions everywhere. And they weren't looking at me. They weren't listening to me. You could hear the whisperings going on. So I thought, okay, what I have to do is I have to go on to my new piece. That will hold their attention. Because I was thinking that it was because they all heard it before and it wasn't any good and they were getting restless because it was old material. So I said, change into a new piece. And I was thinking, giving out my new piece. And that was the problem. I was thinking. And people pick up on this. Audiences, especially live audiences, they pick up on it. When you're nervous, when you're thinking, it's almost like they can read your mind. They know that you're restless. They know that you're thinking. They know that you're uneasy, that you're nervous, that you're preoccupied. The audiences feel it. I'm not talking about every individual, but audiences really feel it when you're not present, when you're not there, when you're not engaged and watching and really getting into your topic in a deep way, because then you really are not blowing their minds, and that's what we want to do. We want to find a way to blow our audience's minds so they come back for more. So that was a terrible experience. Well, I had a few of those actually, where I had restless audiences who just couldn't concentrate and weren't interested. They didn't like what I was doing. They didn't like me, and they felt unhappy. I mean, I didn't go into it in greater detail, but how did that make me feel? Rejected, unloved, unwanted, failure. I thought my work was terrible. I was too small, too big, too old, too this, too that, too this. It's all those things the chatting monkey coming back in, telling me that I'm no good, making me feel awkward, making me feel unhappy, because that's what happens when your performance is not good, when your presentation is not good, when you're not engaged with your audience. People pick up on it, and then you start to feel so bad yourself. And there's not a lot you can do about that. You feel you're back to square one again. You don't know where to go forward. And that's what we want to do. We want to make a difference. We want to really make a difference when we step up and speak out. That's the whole point, isn't it? We've got a message to share. We've got something to, we've got something that's really important we want to give. We've got value. We've got an offer. So we want to make a difference. We want to step up and really speak out. And it boils down to you to get that together. So what do you think? Has that happened to you? Have you been in a situation where you were talking to somebody and you could see their attention was drifting? Maybe you were on stage presenting, or you were working with somebody and their attention just drifted off. You've been there, you know what it's like. It's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling at all. So it's we have to find ways around it, and it really does start with you. So I'm just looking at my notes here. So how can you build an inspirational style and really blow minds? How can you do that? How can you make a difference? Well, we know for a fact that, especially nowadays, the personal story is a really important part of any conversation that we have with our audience. Telling a little anecdote, telling something that happened to you. Yep, very common situation, yeah. Telling something, a little anecdote to show that person or the people who are listening to you that it's, how that you feel with them. You've got that, you empathize with them. You understand their situation by relating to them some story in your life so that they can identify with it. They get engaged, they become inspired by it. They say, oh yeah, you've had that too. I know what that feels like. So the personal story is a really important thing. And I'll tell you one of my experiences in Toastmasters, actually, a couple of years back, maybe 2-3 years back. And I was really into the contest, going for the contest. And in Toastmasters, you do a 7-minute speech. And you do a 7-minute speech. And the topic was all about making a difference. And I thought hard about a personal story. And it was a really good one. It was a story about how I saved somebody's life. Wow, that's impactful, isn't it? How did I save somebody's life? That sounds really good. So I started to look at the main points of that story. What got me into that? It was fear. I had to overcome fear in order to save somebody's life. Oh, yeah, this is sounding good now. This will definitely hold people's attention. Fear, something that I overcame, and then I was able to save somebody's life. So I thought, this is what I can build on. I build on this idea that to save somebody's life, I will step into a danger zone, save their life, and come out of it the heroine, if you like. So this was a great idea to build a speech on around this and using this personal story. But it didn't work. It wasn't coming out like that. I was just telling. I wasn't giving off the passion, the emotion. I wasn't connected to the story. I was just telling it. And so when I asked for some feedback from friends of mine, they said, a really great point. Go back to what it was like when you were standing on that door and you had to knock on that door. What was the feeling that you had at that moment when you had to step in that room, overcome your fear in order to save somebody's life? So I went back to that, I closed my eyes, I got into that moment of standing in front of that door, feeling what that fear was like, what it was doing to me. And I went through the emotion of that. And I was able to capture that and rearrange my speech around it, turn the magic of that colloquial language, get really into that to bring out the best in it. And so when I did that speech, I won it at club, I won it at district level, and then at division level. I never get them right. Anyway, I won the national contest. So that was a really good feeling, because what I did was I started to show feeling and emotion and capturing the essence of that situation. And I was able to bring that out to connect with my audience. So that's a really important thing to do, to connect with people through passion, through emotion, through showing your feelings. Now, in the blog, I talked about how the audience, how important it is to remember that your audience wants you to do well. They're there for you. They're there to go, yeah. They're there because they want to learn something. They want something reinforced. They want to feel good. They want to laugh maybe. They want to be entertained for sure. People come to see you and listen to you because they want you to do well. And I think it's really important to keep that in your head. People do want to see you come out and be the best. So keep that in your mind when you're stepping out on stage, when you're speaking online, when you're talking to your colleagues. And the other thing is to know your content really well. You've got to know it inside out. Yes, people like to wing it and improvise. That's important when things are not going well. Yeah. The audience is not there to criticize you. They do that later, don't they, Vibhuka? Yeah. So it's really important to know your content well. Know your content really well, inside out, and love it. You've got to love what you're talking about, because people pick up on it. You know, you've got to really know and understand well and love what you're talking about. It's so important, so that people pick up on that energy as well. When you're loving your topic, when you're showing some happiness in it, or sadness, or passion, or anger, or fear, or whatever the emotion is, people pick up on that. And so knowing your content really well is key. And well, there are, of course, technical things that everybody can improve on. And projecting your voice, having a good voice, is a really important one, of course. But the one that I love is the power of the pause. The power of the pause is just so effective and has so many benefits, because it's tied in with breathing. It's tied in with a calmness. It's tied in with you feeling relaxed, because you know that you can take a little pause here and there. And the audience pick up on that energy. They see that you're relaxed. You're taking your time to breathe in and out. You're relaxed. And they like that. Audiences like to see that you are happy doing what you're doing. Whatever it is, even if it's a sad story, they like to see you relaxed. So the power of the pause is a wonderful thing to develop. Get into that. It has super benefits. And another thing that I like to emphasize is, yes, when you're doing the talking, you might think it's controversial, but when you're talking, you're also listening. Now, you're listening and you're watching. You're listening with your eyes. You're watching with your ears. You know, your senses are alert to what's going on around you, especially in your audience. It's really important to keep contact with your audience, to know that they're there and you're watching them. They're not fiddling with their phones, or they're not getting ready to go out and leave the room. You are listening and watching your audience, because that way you can really bring them back in by keeping that contact with them. You can find ways to bring them back in. I think I told you a few weeks ago, I did a speech one time, and I wasn't paying attention to my audience. I was just determined to get through the speech and finish it, instead of saying, stop, this is not working, because I wasn't listening or paying attention to my audience. By paying attention to my audience, I can see that they're not connected. I can find ways to reconnect with them. Online, it's more tricky because all you've got are those little comments and the hearts and thumbs that come up, and then you've got that replay thing going on. So one of the great things that I learned from my coach, you're doing a Facebook Live or you're doing a video where you don't really have any contact with your audience besides the emojis and a few words here and there. Imagine you're broadcasting. Wow, isn't that good? You're just broadcasting. You're on a radio show and you're just giving out your information, your value, your offer. Doesn't matter who's there. It's you broadcasting. You and that little green light. And every so often, you take a peep at the comments because you're keeping in contact with your audience. Everybody has to keep in contact with their audience, don't they? So have that in your head. It's a great thing I learned from my coach. Just imagine that you're broadcasting. So they're very simple things. It's not rocket science. And if you manage to put all those things together, you'd be surprised how it can help you to bring out your personality, your own special charisma, your own panache and style, that zing and ding that we all want to hear, because those are the things that draw us in. Even, difficult topics, even heavy topics. Don't you think? Have you had those experiences too? What do you think, people? Are you getting that vibe as well? Do you feel that happens to you? Do you find that happens to you? Have you been in situations where you've noticed your audience disconnecting, or maybe you were disconnecting from them? Yeah, it's a funny thing, isn't it? So maybe you'll write some questions to me later. I know somebody wrote a question earlier and they said, I'm just so shy. That's the problem. I don't know how to come out of my shyness. And that is definitely a topic I am going to be bombing in a week or so, because shyness, everybody can be shy about something. Hey, listen, believe it or not, there are moments in my life where I am shy. I admit. So, it can happen to anybody. And the thing is that there are so many ways to bring out your personality. It doesn't matter if you're shy, you're an introvert, you're an extrovert. All these things are irrelevant because there are so many ways that you can bring out the passion, the fire, the energy within you. So, we will talk about this soon. And I can't wait to get into that topic as well, because that's something I know a lot of people fight with, how to deal with inhibitions, cultural differences, inhibitions particularly. So when it comes to inspiring your audience, you really do have to think about those very basic things. Know your content well. Oh yeah, and there's the last one. The last thing that's really important, I forgot to mention, smile. That smile, everybody has a beautiful smile. Everybody has a beautiful smile. So smiling, facial gestures, body movements adds to it. It gives energy. People want to see your energy when you're performing, when you're presenting, when you're giving your pitch, or when you're talking, all those words. They want to see some facial expressions, some body language, some hands, a little bit dancing. They want to see your magical smile, because it does. It makes people feel really good. Oh, I like all these thumbs and smiles. It does. It makes people feel good. So simple things to help you become an inspirational speaker and blow minds. And that's what we want to do. We want to see minds being blown. And we want to be able to do that ourselves. So power of the pause, smiling, know your content, be, remember the audience is on your side, and listen, pay attention to your audience. Simple things. Don't you think so? Have you had those experiences too? So we're coming to the end of this half-hour broadcast. And I just want to remind some people that I'm still doing the Power Hour. I had a lot of success with it. People jumping on to link up with me for a Power Hour. to sort out immediate problems that they have so that they can really step up and stand out. I'm also offering a 1-month course, which is going very well. People are really interested. And the 1-month course is to sort out your resistances, your obstacles, to set your goals, bring out the energy in you, develop the writing skills, whatever it is that you need. I would love to be part of your growth and your development. And so just pop me a note down below to let me know that you're interested, and I'll get back to you real soon. So half an hour is gone, another week to come, and I'll be back broadcasting Facebook Live. And thanks to all the people who've been on with me during this last half hour. And if you've got any questions, do you feel satisfied? Do you feel I've given you some tips and tricks to become an inspirational speaker and really blow minds? Yes, yes, definitely. Oh, definitely there. I like that one. And a few hearts. Because, you know, maybe I haven't answered all your questions. Drop them down there below. This video will be up for quite some time, and I shall be putting it on the blog tomorrow so other people can have a look at it. It'll go up on various other social media sites. So put in your questions. Let's make this interactive. You know, not just me talking to you, but you coming back with your questions. Anyway, thanks for being on with me today, and have a fabulous evening. Whatever it is that you do, enjoy yourselves, and I'll see you again in a week. You are the expert at blowing minds. Love you a lot, love. Thank you so much, Vivica. Oh, yes, I love blowing minds. And thanks, everybody, for being on. See you soon. I'll be back in a week. Yeah, see you again. You got any questions? Pop them in the link below. And CTRs, I'll be there watching your comments too. Take care. Have a lovely evening. Bye for now.